Oh, hi there, baby bat.
Welcome back to the channel, y'all.
About the whole rebellious thing, about when they want to say that we're not rebellious, and only the left can be rebellious and the right can never be rebellious because, you know, we're a bunch of suit-wearing Matt Walshes or something. You know, we all watch Fox News or some dumb stuff. But when I was talking about the horseshoe effect, it's also that I read these articles talking about authoritarianism, and they're always using loaded language. That's another thing, is that they are hoping that people's media literacy, which is really bad, it's so bad that they can't see when somebody's using loaded language. They outright sometimes just say outright, you know, Trump is racist. These people are voting for him against their interests. These Mexicans and these colored people or whatever, like the word is POC, these minorities. And they have such a very strict idea of what inclusion could be. And they're hoping that your media literacy is so bad or that you just won't care because you're already programmed that you won't notice the loaded language. But I'm saying this because they always want to act in these articles. They always say things such as right-wingers they prefer authority and hierarchy. And that left-wing people, sometimes they'll be glazing them so hard, they'll just be like, they're just a nice, open-hearted, you know, warm-hearted people. They like they like new experiences and positive emotions. I'm like, we all like new experiences and positive emotion. And it uses these words that because people are dumb, they think that these things are bad. The authority in and of itself is bad, and that must be you're admitting that you are you know, while I am actively resisting your authority,
you cannot be goth or punk and conservative. Granted, you can be alternative and conservative, but then you're only alternative within your own ranks. You're just cosplaying. Being a goth and being a punk is not about the clothes. It is about your ideologies and who you are as a person.
Looks like I gotta remind bro here, who started punk rock? Let's take a look at some of the top pioneers. Johnny and Joey Ramone of the Ramones, outspoken conservatives and Republicans. Johnny Rotten from a band known as the Sex Pistols. You might have heard of them, maybe you have. Outspoken conservative. Bobby Steele of the Misfits, also a conservative. The ideology that seems to resonate now with modern punks is, if you don't believe exactly what I believe, then you're a poser, you're a cosplayer, you're fake. That whole ideology is just absolute crap. It is inherently anti-punk to say something like that. Who are you to tell me what I should think and believe? That seems pretty establishment of you. Stop trying to fit everybody into a box. That's not your choice. Not to mention you sound stupid as hell doing it.
your supposed authority. We are actively going against that. And you don't even have to be a conservative. I'm saying a lot of conservatives are. Okay, whatever. But it's basically saying, for instance, like the hierarchy thing. No, I don't prefer hierarchies. Hierarchies exist in nature. We don't prefer them. It's just the fact that they exist. And left-wing people hate that they exist, and they pretend that this makes them better people because they want to replace the original hierarchy. For instance, if you work hard and you do all the right things, obviously I know there is corruption, right? And they blame capitalism for corruption, even though corruption exists in all economic, I can't even think, systems. But they think that this makes them sound like they're better people. Like, look, they don't like everybody to be like the guy to be on top. They don't want him to be on top. They think everybody should be equal. And I'm just like, that's not how the world works. Like, and you could just break down how stupid this ideology is when you apply it to them personally. Like, even with the immigration thing, he was doing something, I don't remember now, and she was talking about, you can't believe this because, you know, there is no illegal immigrants on stolen land. And he was like, and she kept telling him to leave, and he was like, no, because there is no property on stolen land. You can't tell me to leave. And it was like really boggling her brain that she couldn't understand that he was using her logic against her. Not because he really felt that way, but It's like all these things that they think is, they want to replace the original hierarchy, which is just people's natural inclination to be better at something than other people, or that we have our natural weaknesses and strengths, and we even have we have differences, and there's nothing wrong with your differences. And they want to pretend that they believe that too, but I listen to how they act, or what they say and how they act, more than just the surface level. But I'm saying their hierarchy is not really making anyone equal. It's more just reframing things. So, like, for instance, if you're trans, you're on the top. If you're gay, you're on the bottom of that. If you're lesbian, you're on the bottom of that. If you're like the Native American, you're underneath, all them. And then there's the Mexicans and the women, and then who's at the very bottom? The white man, the white straight man. That's the guy who's at the bottom every single time. Because they make up this stupid excuse that because white people did this and that, and I'm like, well, maybe even, especially, you don't even have an argument anyway. But like, they want to do this stuff in England where they're way more, authoritarian than even over here. And I'm like, y'all, they're trying to make it to where they're trying to literally rewrite history to say that there were indigenous black people in that area in England. And the only reason why they're doing this is because they really so desperately, they're trying to get around the fact that was always a white area, or at least for most of history. Yeah, they are trying to get around that fact. They can come over here. They do this shit over here, but they use the Native Americans and stuff as an excuse to do what they're doing. But over there, they can't do it, so they have to literally rewrite history. And I'm just saying, to get their way. And in reality, it doesn't really help the people that they say it's helping, because if you ever read Thomas Sowell, Thomas Sowell, everybody talks about Thomas Sowell, but I actually haven't read him. I have in the closet. Anyway, books. But if you actually read Thomas Sowell, you'll understand that a lot of these things that they believe does not help the people that they think it's going to help.
Of course, this has some impact, but it's not the only thing that has an impact. But why? First of all, what other things have an impact? It's probably an infinite list of things. And secondly, why do they only focus on race on the left?
I guess it's because that's proven to be a politically popular thing to do. But in point of fact, one of the things that's mentioned in the book is a study that was done by the New York Times, of all people, some years ago, where they tried to show the 10 poorest counties in the United States. And they mentioned which ones they were and so on. It turns out that 6 of those 10 counties had a population that was from 90% to 100% white. Now, in the New York Times, they didn't mention the race of the people, but once they told me the counties, I looked it up. And in fact, I followed the average income in those 6 counties over a span of 50 years. And in all those 50 years, all 6 of those counties had a median income lower than the median income of black Americans. Now, and so the people in those counties faced zero racism because they were white and indistinguishable from all other whites. They didn't have a legacy of slavery, and yet there they were. You have to ask then, clearly there must be other things that cause poverty. We can't just assume that because people of a given race have more poverty than some other people, that race must be the reason.
Because what you're really doing is you're taking a guy from this group and you're putting him in this position of power, or in giving him a leg up when he didn't deserve it. So what happens is this guy goes to college with a bunch of people who are way above him education-wise, and he can't keep up. So then he ends up dropping out, and that's literally just what happens. Or they just don't perform well in general. It doesn't matter what. But so these people are not helping. This ideology is not helping. Black people, for instance, it's not. But then I'm not over here trying to scorn you and be like, how dare you think all this stuff, you're so racist. No, the reason why I say some people are racist is because they quite literally either said something racist to me, or they're trying to tell me what to think because of my race.
Goth culture now is very political and specifically left-leaning.
This video has found its way into my inbox and you've tagged me in the comments. Clearly you want me to weigh in, but who am I to make any sort of commentary on the goth subculture? Countercultures have always been left-leaning. They've historically have always been left-leaning. As far as goths becoming more political within the last 10 years is two global events had taken place in the last 9 years. 2016, we had Brexit and we had MAGA, and these are two things that have fundamentally changed the world on a global scale. So naturally, everybody became a lot more vocal. I do not believe that goth is a politically based subculture. I'm always getting confused for being a Latina. Speak to me in Spanish. Literally have no idea what's going on. I'm just like...
And that's what they do to black people too, because once you're useless to them, they throw you aside. And that's the side that they're on, and they think that they want to say, no, they're the rebels, we're not the rebels. Seriously. The fact that even people in the middle are agreeing with me, I'm just saying, we're all fucking tired of it. It's I said before, it's cringe. It's just so obviously stupid. It's so obviously stupid. It's so obviously hateful towards white people. It's like, yes, I understand going against the norms under certain circumstances where it matters, like where it actually has a place, right? A lot of y'all want to live in the past. But in this case, it's just progressivism, just progressing for the sake of progressing, because they need something to fight for. So what are they doing? They're going to come up with new battles. They're going to come up with new obstacles, even when there are none. And in reality, it's not even what they think it is. So some of them, they don't. They're already programmed. You know, you can't gain new information. Some of them can. And some of them have left, but I'm saying a lot of these hardcore ones, they cannot gain new information, and they have all this institutional power, and then they have these people in these universities write these articles and then put them on Google, who is paid off by politicians, and they're paid off by these universities. And they glaze the left-wingers, and then they make the right-wingers sound like we're a bunch of mindless, like we're the drones, that we're the ones who love authority. Meanwhile, I guess it's different. And then they say left-wingers are the ones that are in these same articles. They say left-wingers are the ones that are fighting against the system. And so even when they're trying to be like, well, technically both authoritarian left-wing and right-wingers are very uncommon, but at least the left-wingers are doing it against the system, right? And it's just like, it's very much admitting, and like I said, a lot of them don't even know it, that they're foot soldiers, that they are literally foot soldiers for these people. That in reality, some of these people really are these. They really do know what's going on, in like those Antifa types. Like they not know what's going on like politically, but I mean they know what they're doing. They use certain tactics. They use certain tactics to oppress media, to oppress journalism. That's why they always get in your face, and they put their hand in front of the camera.
Sir, stop it.
Walk.
Stop.
Walk.
What are you doing? Why are you so mad? I didn't do anything.
You did.
What did I do?
Walk.
I haven't done anything.
Walk. Do not come back.
Watch out.
You come back, I'm gonna f***ing smoke you, dude.
Really?
Yes, really. I'm
Why?
gonna smash that camera.
Stop it. Stop.
And they will do anything. They will be violent, right? And they'll put their face mask on so nobody can see them. They'll be violent when they have a face mask on, but even then, if there's like a journalist or something, or somebody with a camera, then they'll just block you. And it's video after video of that's happening to people and journalists. And then these same old stupid Karens online want to be like, you don't like the media because Trump said something mean to this. I'm like, a lot of these people that call themselves journalists are not journalists. But then you got people on the ground literally doing their job, like literally pursuing their passion and showing things off, like that Nick Shirley guy who just exposed a bunch of fraud.
Here in Minnesota, blatant fraud is taking place within the government and the Somalian population. Right here, you see a daycare center. It says it's Creative Minds Daycare. Creative Minds Daycare was actually shut down and was reopened the next day underneath the name Super Kids. And just in the past year, in 2025, this daycare alone has received $2.45 million. It's rumored here that some of these daycares and these other businesses that are committing fraud have been rumored to be giving money back to terrorist groups in Somalia.
With the Somali immigrants and all that.
Is cut. I'm unable to work or go to school. I understand fraud is bad.
This guy, this happens to him all the time. They will do anything short of this, of like not touching you, but basically being in your way and stopping you from recording anything because they're being violent. These people are the ones that are part of, they're connected. They're connected to these politicians, and they're connected to all kinds of things. They're very corrupt. They admit it themselves. Even people who aren't completely aware, they're just stupid. They kind of already know it. Like, left wing is against the system. What's the system? Is the system like? It sounds good on the surface, right? To the 14-year-old dumbass who's, in their bedroom wanting to look all edgy. But what is the system exactly? What is the system? A lot of these people are communistic. A lot of times too, they will rile up. They'll rile up violence, or like they'll get in, like, for instance, in front of police officers, and they'll start, doing everything they can again to stop people from doing their job. Like if they're trying to get people to take them back to their country, they will do that, and they're hoping, or stand in front of the car. That's one thing that they do. They've been doing this forever, and they will do anything that they can do so that eventually, when the cameras are that they can cause a drama, so that the cameras will be on them. They will block the journalist with the camera if they believe that that journalist is a threat to them. Then they'll start yelling white supremacist, right winger. Then they'll do that, even if they're not. But when what they really do want the cameras though. And what they really want the cameras for is for these big news outlets that sensationalize everything. So what they want to do is they want to stand in front of the car, and then when somebody needs to get out, accidentally hits them or hurts them, then they want to cry. They want to cry and look like this is a revolution, that they're stopping us from helping these people. And when it was all because they got in the way, and they've been doing this forever.
Once their organization is formed and the key workers trained and deployed, the riot makers are ready for stage 2, the preconditioning of large groups of basically uncommitted persons. When the time is ripe for mass action, these are the people who must be counted on to respond. The goal is to set up hate targets, develop issues, and create a climate of hostility that will draw people together, make them act as a unit, and follow their leaders anywhere when the signal is given. They must be conditioned to accept violence as an instrument of change, and convinced of the necessity for direct action. They must give up their individual identities and act with the crowd without questioning the morality of the act. There are many proven ways of accomplishing this. One way is the in-group, out-group tendency, which motivates most people. It's human nature to want to be in, to become a member of a group. If initially you may not agree with some members of the group, social pressure forces you in anyway. You forget your differences in your desire to be with the rest of the crowd. And suddenly you're not only there on the inside, but you're actively opposing the out-group.
It's so that people can be on the news, and then when the news can take it and they can spin it to look one way when it was actually the other way. So what exactly is this system that they're trying to take down? Is it these bad guys, these bad politicians that they're always connected to? This bad money, connect to even people, the cartel, even from Mexico. Is it all this, like, are they really fighting the system, or is it that they are taking money from these? They're taking money from these corrupt politicians and anyone that'll give it to them, and they also at the same time they don't care, because if they can humble. They can do that to anything. Like they can make it destroy it. Basically, they can destroy culture. They can take it over, pervert it for their own use. If they can take norms that aren't the problem, like simply being white, if they can take something like that, or just anything normal that has an actual purpose, like the nuclear family, if they can pervert that and destroy that and make that evil, then they can redo everything. They can start, because what they really want to do is they want to destroy everything, and then they want to rebuild it. They want to rebuild it because that was the goal to begin with. They don't really care about you. They don't really care about black people. They don't care about me. They don't care about Hispanic people, mixed people. If they really cared about mixed people, they wouldn't constantly be trying to make us pick between our white side and our Hispanic side or what have you. It's not about that. They toss you aside the moment you're useless to them. Everybody say hi. I've been calling her Elvira. But yeah, a lot of this stuff is just lack of media literacy. They hear these things or they see them, and then they get one side of it. They're not getting both sides of it. And that's why they don't want to send the Mexicans back or whatever. It's not, they're using you. They're using people, those people as useless, useful idiots. I mean, hey, you got my microphone. They're using these useful idiots to be their foot soldiers, to be the ones to get in front of the cars, so that they can pretend like taking these people back to their own country is so evil and is so racist. But in reality, it causes, not only does it cause a lot of problems, but I mean, it's because they don't want to stop the fentanyl from getting from over there to over here. They don't want to stop the good drugs from coming over here, or even other things from coming over here. Because that's how they get their money. Because that's how they get their money. And a lot of these people telling me I'm this, I'm that, everywhere, forever and ever. I'm like, I hate myself. Okay, good luck with that. Good luck. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. I don't hate myself. I love my fellow American. I don't want them to die of an overdose. Maybe I shouldn't have used the D word, but whatever. And I can't believe adults on the internet cannot use adult words when you chose to listen to me. Like, we're not allowed to listen to each other. Like, let's censor them because they said this word a certain way. Let's demonetize them or take down their channel. Hope that doesn't happen, but because it's really annoying having to put in beeps and bleeps. That's very annoying. Yeah, no, it's called being, it's called having common sense. People talking about, we're not rebellious, or like, their idea of rebellion ended like 30 years ago, if it was ever that to begin with. They're like, there's only one way to be rebellious. You know how that lady, she did a study proving, she said it was going to prove that the hormone blockers were going to actually help people, children's mental health. And she was just, it's going to help children's mental health. And then what happened? The survey showed that no, it doesn't really do anything for these kids. It doesn't do anything for their mental health. And if that's the case, it's kind of admitting that it was a mental health thing to begin with, and that we shouldn't automatically assume that these children are transgender when they could have autism. There's a big link between that and autism, mistaking that for autism. And I have a cousin that's autistic. Bailey is autistic. But anyway, so what did they do? They hid the study. They hid the study. They didn't want it because they said it could be weaponized. It could be weaponized. So basically what they're saying is, because we didn't get the result we wanted, we're just going to not release it because we want to protect trans kids. No, it's not about that at all. They have the authority over these universities, and then these same people, like coming out of these colleges saying that they couldn't write the paper that they wanted to write. They had to write the opinion that the teacher was going to give them an A on, because all they're teaching it to these kids. And then these same people doing these studies from these universities, they hide the stuff they don't want you to see. And then they use these stupid words like homophobic or transphobic or whatever phobic, Islamophobic. But it's funny how there's no Christian phobic, even though they're slaughtered all the time. I'm just saying, like, they do all this stuff because they're hoping that the useful idiots will, I don't know, will take that and run with it. But a lot of these people, I don't even think that either they're stupid and they really do believe in it. They're like the foot soldiers. And then there's the other foot soldiers. There's the people in between who you would think are smart enough to know this, but they don't care. And I genuinely think that these people are not just narcissistic. I think these people are sociopathic. And there's a lot of links. There's a lot of links that I could get into. But I'm saying I genuinely think that they don't really care about this stuff either. Some of them.
By no means are all these people members of the world communist conspiracy, so-called. It's not that simple anymore, if indeed it ever was. Some are compulsive revolutionaries, seeking an outlet for their frustrations and complexes. Others are modern-day nihilists. Just as Hitler wanted to see Paris burned, they want to send our world up in flames. There are the philosophers and the amateurs, and those who use the tools of protest for purely personal gain. And some are merely opportunists, who see a way to get themselves in the spotlight and on the television screen.
Oh, excuse me. I don't think that they really care about it either, some of them. I think some of them just get off on, like, controlling people and manipulating situations to gain control over other people. And it's very psychotic and very, forgot the word. What's the word? Very, psychological. I don't know. It's not the word. Pathological. It's very pathological. Why people feel the need to do that, and I think a lot of it is just people wanting to be violent for the sake of being violent, or because they have nothing to do, or they have sociopathic tendencies. They actually lack empathy, and then they use empathy as a tool or a shield when they don't have empathy.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
At all, actually. They don't, that's why it doesn't matter what you say to them. They're never going to be, either they're never going to change their mind because they're too far programmed, or they never cared in the first place. I genuinely think that some of these people are just acting out because they want to act out. Or they just want free stuff and they're just part of the group because they wanted free stuff and they wanted to break into the stores and get free stuff. There's those people too. Those people are like the most Lord. Not based, not like that. I mean, what's the word? Abased? Debased. What the fuck am I talking about? Those people are like the most debased. I feel like, those kinds of people, they're like subhuman, like not subhuman, like they aren't human. Obviously, every God created everybody with a soul, but I'm saying, and value, inherent value. But I'm saying, these people put themselves down. They put themselves on a subhuman level because these people take advantage of these issues for their own personal gain and their own personal ego, whatever their fucking reason is for it. So yeah, we are the rebels. And what's even better about being the rebel and being the and being the actual alternative to these fucktards, fucktots, hater tots. I don't know. The good thing about that is that we're also in the right. So we're not just in it for the popularity. We're quite literally, like, I feel like we're part of something bigger now. And especially with like Goths against cancel culture. I think we're part of something bigger. That I am, and I feel it's kind of cool. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of cool. That we are actually speaking out in a way that actually means something. And it's not just there to just be like, you're not goth. Ooh, you're not goth. those people are just idiots. Those you're not goth people, they're idiots. All of them. Usually they're just dancing in their room. Anyways. They don't know anything. They don't contribute to society. They don't have normal lives. They're a bunch of cat ear wearing anime. Nothing wrong with anime, and Harley loves anime, but I'm saying, you know what I mean. The bluey watching, stuck in a 5-year-old state. What's that word for that? Those kinds of people, where they stay regressed in childhood. Those type of people, but then they're like the meanest when they have no right to be so mean, being so cringe themselves. Like a lot of them are just they take this shit so seriously. They eat this shit up. They eat this woke stuff up. They take it so seriously. And I know because quite literally that person that I just described is like an idea in my head, but it's not actually, because that's actually somebody I used to be friends with. I stopped being friends with because they were promoting violence and stuff on Facebook. So I had to stop being friends with them. Yeah, and I mean like bluey watching, you know, those kinds of people. It's always those kinds of people that are like the most ugh. And this other one too, she used to be like the sweet girl, but she became all wild and stuff and just all kinds of stuff. And she was talking about like, I'm not even going to get into that, I guess, but I don't know. Let me just leave it at this. She did say, like, when I was pregnant, that she was talking about babies being parasites, looking at me while I'm pregnant at a Christmas party, like, and I'm over here like, they're not parasites because, you know, it's not like a parasitic relationship. That's not what a parasite is. But And she wanted to double down and stuff. And I'm just like, this is just so rude. Like, I'm pregnant. Why are you saying this in front of me? Unless you want to get at me somehow. Unless you want to get at me and, like, get under my skin. That's what I'm going to say about that. But that's a whole other tangent. I just wanted to say something about that. And I'm going to edit a video. I don't know if I'm going to edit, if I'm going to put this in first. Or, like, upload this first. And then upload the video, because the beginning of this video might not make complete sense until you watch my other video. But I'm going to have to edit it down and stuff. Anyway. So, yeah, I'm just like ranting right now to myself. And I thought that I'd say that. Alright, bye.
Look, there's a moral to all this, okay? At the end of the day, yes, there are still good people in this world. And if you're one of them, be happy about that, okay? Be grateful that you're not one of the tortured souls walking around in misery and anger. You actually get to live. You get to laugh. You get to enjoy your family, go to concerts, act stupid with your friends. They don't do that.